you?
I'm good, thank you. We have a very, very important topic today to discuss. So this is sustainability. So I guess all of us as students know that this topic is really too much important nowadays. And I studied nursing, and there are too many factors that have an impact on our health and well-being. And I would like to ask you, what is sustainability for you, and how you can explain what this word means. What about you, Tony?
Well, look, sustainability is kind of everything for me because it's the future of engineering. And as an engineering student, I'm doing my postgrad in engineering, I think that if you're an engineer and you're not considering sustainability and you're not considering how engineering needs to change to meet sustainability demands, then you're not really thinking of the future. So I do think that thinking ecologically, thinking economically, these are all factors that we need to consider for future generations.
Yeah, I know. For me, I do hotel management in uni, and we have to focus so much on sustainability. I mean, every year there are more tourists, there are more people going to different countries, and things like planes, all the carbon in it, and the littering that happens, especially in these third world countries where it's not as important. They just want to make the money from the tourism. I
guess the tourists don't really worry about that either, because they just want to have a good time.
Yeah, exactly. They're focused on the money from the tourism. So I don't know what.
It's an interesting point, but if I could just jump in, I was just really curious of how does sustainability really affect the tourism industry? Because wouldn't it be more to do with government?
I think for the tourism industry, what a lot of these people are coming from all over the world to see are these, really natural ecosystems and these not so much man-made sort of tourist attractions. And with sustainability, we need to make sure that we actually sustain these attractions, or
Well, if I can just cut in there, I know what you're saying, and I think that the big misunderstanding when it comes to sustainability is to sort of put the responsibility on governments, and I think that that's where we're all wrong. I think that sustainability is something that everyone needs to be involved in, not just separate industries, but also the individuals, and I think that we've been too sort of comfortable saying, well, the government is responsible for creating the laws or for enforcing different whatever policies. However, if you are in the for example, tourism industry, you have a responsibility to work around these concepts. How do we, because as a business you want to make money, obviously. How do we make money, but also maybe aid the local communities? I mean, from a business point of view, I'm studying business, I think, it is about time that corporations take this responsibility and not just sort of sit there and say, oh yeah, we have some policies and we're just trying to recycle a little bit in our offices. Yeah. It's so much more than that. And I think that we tend to look at sustainability, one, from the perspective of it's the government's responsibility, but also it's just about the environment, and there's so much more.
I couldn't agree more.
Like in the nursing industry, for example, there's a lot of social aspects or even economic aspects that have to do with sustainability. Like, how do you think in your area this can be applied?
Well, I see your point, but I'm sorry that I completely disagree with you, because I suppose that governments and all the rules and regulations that come to us, so this is the priority, this is the major goal nowadays. And I think that all of us, as a part of any business corporation, as any individuals, we cannot do too much by ourselves if we do not have proper rule or proper law or proper regulation that comes from the government. So, and only these things, maybe some, independent actions in any specific country or any major and common actions of all the countries all over the world. So maybe by means of some international treaties or agreements. So this is what we can do. So to reduce some poor sanitation, waste, and litter all over the world.
Yeah.
I see your point, but isn't it also the responsibility of businesses and organisations to, pave the way? to also show the government that, you know, they really do want to make changes in policy. And sometimes it's up to those individual businesses to make those steps before government does, because government seems to be a bit lazy.
I agree with Jennifer. I mean, if you think about it, I'm not saying that the government isn't responsible. What I'm saying is it's not the only party in this situation. I think that the government is obviously responsible for creating laws that will aid this. But the problem is a lot of the time, and I think because we're behind, I think that obviously we're kind of trying to catch up with all the environmental damage that's already occurred in the world. And the governments are just now thinking about these policies, right? But they're always a bit late, they're always a bit behind. So if we just follow the law, we're not really doing a lot. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's where we just sit back and sort of say, oh, well, the government has to do this, then what's our job? Like, what
It comes down to all of us.
Exactly.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually Australia is one of the lowest countries in the environmental summit. Like, we're right down the
really?
bottom. Yeah, it's terrible.
It's pretty shameful. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I was reading once that countries like Germany, that don't have a lot of sun, they use something like 60% they create 60% of energy by using solar panels. Do you know how much is in Australia?
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. Give me a number.
No clue.
10.
I'll say
Nah, too
5%.
much. About 5%.
About 5, yeah.
And we have so much sun. Like, how can that
It's ridiculous.
be? It's
I've lived in
embarrassing.
Germany, and I remember having conversations with Germans about this. And because you drive from Berlin to Hamburg, and all you see is wind farms.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the main source of power in Germany is sustainable.
Yeah.
Right? It's wind energy, it's solar, and Germans would say to me, "Oh, with all that sun in Australia,
Yeah.
you must
What are
have
you
so
doing?"
much."
This is
Yeah,
an
I
incredible
know.
example. This is an incredible example, and
Yeah.
so it shows how the developed countries can set very good goals for the countries with peripheral economies. And
Yeah,
this
but
is
if
what
I
we
can
need
just
to
cut
do.
in there for a minute, because yes, I know what you're saying, and development just have a lot of responsibility, but I come from a developing country, and our problems are so much bigger than just the environment. Like, there are no regulations about recycling in Chile because people don't have enough money to live. So these kind of concepts are so foreign to people. They just need to survive, really. So
Yeah.
it's really hard to, kind of demand from the smaller nations, and you would see
That
a lot.
relates so much to our
Right.
tourism here. I mean, so many third world countries are relying on tourism and for their income, for their family. Do you think they care about recycling? I don't think so.
And they're probably annoyed that tourist leader and all that,
Yeah.
but they also see that they just need that. They
No,
can't go
they need more
without.
from it.
Also, by the same token, a lot of Westerners, say, go on holiday, and they'll go to places like Thailand and litter and make a mess and destroy things. And so there's a lot of tourism can also damage sustainability as well. I know that there's places in Thailand, or certain parts of, say, Koh Samui, where they don't want any tourists.
Yeah,
And if they
they want to
see you, they're
preserve
like,
that.
oh no, it's one of those messy Westerners.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who
So
can
it's
blame
very
them?
easy, I suppose. So just higher penalties need to be imposed for such people. So this is what we need to do. But anyway, even if people have, some problems with money or something like that, they don't know how to survive. Anyway, we still need to educate people and to change their approach and to change their understanding of the problem, because education comes first. So it's not simply enough to give money to poor countries. This is what we can do. Of course, this is the easiest thing.
I agree, and what you're saying reminds me of the concept that some tourism industries are trying to do by training people in local communities to create their own sort of businesses around tourism. So,
Yeah.
for example, give the tourist sort of like a realistic experience with the locals, with the natives of that area,
Yeah.
and sort of to live that experience.
Yeah.
And in that way, they're aiding them to have like another income or a source of income, but also helping the community, keep their traditions, I think, because when you have too many tourists, as you were saying, that can also affect the local culture. But also, giving them a tool to
Empower
maintain,
them.
exactly,
Yeah.
and
Empower